And we're back with Legends of Lake Howell. This month, our special guest is Miss Stevie Place. Miss Place is the Seminole County Math Teacher of the Year. We're very excited to meet with her today. And Miss Place, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Miss Place, I incorrectly stated as I did my intro that you were the Math Teacher of the Year, but you're actually the Teacher of the Year for high schools, all high schools in Seminole County Public Schools.
Yes.
So let's talk about that process. How did you feel when you found out that you were the high school teacher of the year?
Well, obviously it was totally unexpected. It was extremely exciting. I remember opening the door on accident and seeing a whole crowd of people, and the door just slowly closed because I was not expecting it at all.
You forgot the part where you accidentally hit someone with the door, right?
I thought you were a student. I saw the shadow underneath. I was letting a student in.
Don't worry, all is forgiven. So Ms. Place, how long have you been teaching?
I have been teaching for 16 years, 10 here at Lake Howell.
So where did you teach prior to coming to Lake Howell?
Oh, I taught at West Orange High School in Orange County.
So was being a math teacher something that you always wanted to do?
Being a teacher was always something I wanted to do. I always thought I'd be elementary, but it wasn't until college in my calculus class that I was like, oh, I like the content, I like math. And that's where the shift happened.
So what do you find most rewarding about being a teacher?
Most rewarding, I would have to say, comes from the students. It comes from the interaction with the students. Honestly, it's the end of the year when the students come by and say their goodbyes, and they thank me for helping them get through another math class. But more so, they thank me for giving them the confidence that they needed to get through the math class. I have tons of letters on my wall from them, and I just cherish every one.
So what content areas are you teaching now?
Currently, I am teaching AP Pre-Calc, Algebra 1 and 2.
Do you have a favorite of all the, not just what you're currently teaching, but any math? Is it AP Calculus, Algebra 1, or you just like all of them?
I think my favorite might be Algebra 2. It's always been my favorite. Pre-Calc is working its way up there, but I think Algebra 2 is just fun.
What's so special about Algebra 2 compared to the other courses?
It's a good question. I don't know. I feel like with Algebra 2, I can kind of make it my own, while the other courses like Algebra 1 is EOC tested, AP Pre-Calc is obviously AP tested, while Algebra 2 is just, it's like my baby. It's like I can teach how I want to teach.
So you feel like you have a little more autonomy because there's no end of course exam that's tied to it.
Exactly. Exactly.
How do you prepare, like your lesson plans? What does that planning process look like?
Sometimes it looks very hectic, but I start by building notes. So I essentially know the content I'm teaching, and then I determine, well, do I want to do an activity for this one? Do I want to do station rotations for this one? Or should it be more independent practice because they really need to focus on what they are capable of? So a lot of questions go into play when I'm building a lesson, and sometimes it does take longer than it should to build a lesson, but because I also have like a lot of resources to go through. But all in all, I think I try to keep the lessons as fun as possible so that they don't get bored.
How do you prepare for lessons that you know historically have been challenging for students, that you know that they may struggle with?
I think I try to chunk it more. I try to take little bits of it at a time, practice it, and then come back, add more to it, then obviously more practice. So it's less me teaching directly and more them focusing and them struggling. It's okay that students struggle, they learn from the struggles. So sometimes even with the challenging ones, I put it on them and I try to get them to see how to be successful, I guess.
So has there ever been a lesson that you put a lot of time in and then it was the day of the lesson, you presented the lesson and it didn't go as expected? It was just a bomb, went over like a lead balloon.
Um, yes, but they don't need to hear that. No. Of course. I mean, no one's perfect. So there's always going to be a lesson that doesn't quite work out. In fact, just a few weeks ago, I thought that I created a decent lesson, one that I thought was easy, and it just completely went over their heads. And sometimes you just have to redirect. There was another situation where I could tell that they were just completely bored, and I should not be admitting that. Nobody is bored in my math class. No, but they were just bored. So I was like, you know what? Let's just throw up a Quizlet live game. They were still engaged. They were still working on the content, but at least it got them awake. It woke them up.
So what are the signs? What is it? How do you know that this is not going as expected?
Oh, you could just tell by their faces. Like they look like, why do I have to be here? Or you could tell the lack of response too, in all honesty. If it's like one kid that's just calling an answer, and even if you ask other kids and they're just like, I don't know, like you can just tell by their demeanor, by how they're holding themselves, you know, so.
So what does a day in the life of math teacher Miss Place look like? What time do you usually arrive at work and what time do you leave?
Okay, so I'm kind of crazy. I get here at 6 o'clock in the morning, not because I am not prepared. I am prepared. I just like the ambiance of my classroom with my cup of coffee in hand. So I kind of just like sit and relax with my coffee and check my emails, prepare the PowerPoints. If there's any last minute activities that I have to put together or move around the desks. But then the day starts and all the kids are here and I'm on my feet until the very end, which, fun fact, you would think I would have 10,000 steps on my watch by the end of the day, but no, I don't. I'm just letting you know, for some random reason, I'm on my feet all day and never meet that goal.
So in addition to teaching math, are there any other things that you do on Lake Howell's campus?
Yes. I am now the new teacher, or I'm a part of the new teachers team, so I try to assist our new teachers. I am the math department chair, and I also run a club for Mu Alpha Theta, which of course naturally is a math club, and we offer peer tutoring twice a week.
So you mentioned that you were a mentor for new teachers. What is some of what type of advice do you give them?
Ooh. Advice for new teachers. Okay, are you ready? You got this. The struggles are real. I understand the first few years, but you will be successful. You will make it through. You got this.
Do you remember any of your struggles as a first year teacher?
So, first year teacher struggles. Yes, I think with first year teacher struggles, it was transitioning from just boring old worksheets to how can I engage them more. I think that is the struggle for a lot of teachers, is just figuring out the right way to engage the students, to get them to actually do a math problem for once, to hold them accountable for getting it done. I think for sure that was probably the initial struggle I faced.
Did you have a teacher mentor, or what person inspired you professionally to continue in education?
I think overall there were several people. At my old school, it's the group that you are with. So at my old school, I worked with a wonderful group, and the same thing happened here, where my PLC, you bond and you make a connection, you become friends, and when you're friends, you work better together. So ultimately, I have a lot of people who have helped me and inspired me. I can't just put that on one. It's been many. I'm very grateful for that.
All right, Ms. Place. So we're going to take a moment here and we're going to switch hats. So we're going to go from talking about Ms. Place as a teacher to Ms. Place as a student. So let's talk about some of your experiences as a high school student. So was first, and this may be a rhetorical question, what was your favorite subject in school?
Yep. Favorite subject would be math, because fun fact, when I was in high school, I only had to do 2 years of math, but I actually ended up taking all 4 years in high school just because I liked it. So I took all 4 years.
Were you a participant in any extracurricular activities?
I did. Yep, I played sports. So I did softball and volleyball, and volleyball was my favorite. I will say that I was really bad my freshman year playing volleyball. I was horrible because it was my first year, but I stuck with it because I had fun. And my senior year, I ended up being MVP and the captain of the volleyball team. So there you go.
Do you have a favorite teacher in school?
So overall in school, yes, but it was elementary. So I had a favorite elementary teacher. His name was Mr. Bowers. But in high school, I did have a teacher that stands out. Sadly, I don't remember his name, but I remember his face. It's clear as day. And I was never a bad kid. I was always a good student.
Okay.
But I might have given him some eye rolls occasionally, might have given him a little attitude because I had him in English 1, and then I had him again my senior year. But the reason I'm bringing him up is because my senior year was different. He ended up writing my letter of recommendation for college, and it was ultimately because it's like he gave me a second chance. I might have been rude to him early on, but he didn't hold it against me later. So he stands out for that reason.
So if you look at your high school experience, if you can describe that experience, let's say in one word, if you need more, what would it be?
My high school experience.
Your high school experience.
Oh man. Well, it was fun. High school was definitely fun. Well, I guess that's one word.
That's one word. It was fun. So let's look at Miss Place. Place is this stellar math student, volleyball player, softball player. If you can go back in time and give yourself some advice, knowing all the information that you have now with your experiences as a teacher, what advice would you give yourself?
To always try and to never give up. Sometimes when you don't try, you can't see your true potential.
So we have one last question in this, because you are the high school teacher of the year and possibly the teacher of the year for Seminole County Schools, because I understand that you're one of 3 finalists. What advice would you give to any teacher, not just a new teacher? What advice would you give to them at this point?
I think I would say lead with your heart, because sometimes it's not always about the content, and it's about connecting with the kids, showing them that they do mean more than just a score on an exam, that it's bigger than just their grade. And just if you're having fun, if you love your job, it shows, and the students will love it too.
This Place, I think that's a great ending. Thank you for joining us, and
Thank you.
good luck.
Thank you.